So imagine pouring tens of thousands of tons of concrete, right?
Yeah.
And erecting miles and miles of high-voltage transmission lines. And, like, literally firing up a dormant nuclear reactor.
Which is a massive undertaking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And doing all of that just so, I don't know, an enterprise chatbot can summarize a meeting or predict a supply chain delay.
Right. It sounds completely absurd when you put it like that.
It really does. But the wild thing is, that isn't some dystopian science fiction scenario. According to today's news cycle, that is our current physical reality.
It really is.
We are witnessing the massive, tangible footprint of the digital age.
And it is a phenomenal shift, honestly, in how we allocate the world's resources.
Yeah, big time.
When you look closely at the underlying currents of today's headlines, you stop seeing isolated stories about, technology or weather.
Right.
And you start seeing the actual machinery of a new industrial era being assembled in real time.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are so thrilled to have you here with us.
It's great to be here.
Our source material today is the 6 a.m. news brief from the Daily Tech Reader. And this is dated Friday, July 10th, 2026.
And we're also pulling from a few of their popular trending posts from the past couple of weeks.
Right, yeah. So our mission today is to basically extract the absolute purest signal from the noise of this specific day's news cycle.
Which there is a lot of noise.
Oh, tons of it. But we are going to show you how the AI revolution has decisively moved out of the realm of, like, abstract software and theoretical code.
Yeah.
And how it's now fundamentally rewriting our physical world, our power grids, and even global geopolitics. Okay, let's unpack this.
The July 10th brief makes it abundantly clear that the era of, speculative AI research, that's entirely behind us now.
Right. It's not just a novelty anymore.
Exactly. We are looking at a tectonic shift in physical infrastructure. The brief repeatedly uses this phrase, operational maturity.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, and that phrase is the key to understanding everything else happening in today's news.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the physical aspect because I feel like our collective vocabulary is sort of failing us right now.
How do you mean?
Well, for the last 15 years or so, we've relied on this term, the cloud.
Oh, right.
And it sounds so light, right? Like it implies that our data, our enterprise software, our AI queries, that they're all just floating weightlessly in the sky.
Like a literal cloud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But looking at the capital spending themes across multiple states that are highlighted in today's brief, we aren't just talking about a few extra server racks here.
No, not at all.
These AI data centers are operating more like, I don't know, aluminum smelters.
That's actually a really good way to put it.
Right. They are massive stationary facilities.
Yeah.
And their sole limiting factor is just their access to cheap, endless megawatts of power.
That is a highly accurate comparison. I mean, the term cloud has masked the industrial reality of computing for years now.
It totally has.
The brief notes that data center construction is currently the strongest capital spending theme nationwide. I mean, this is heavy industry. Investors are demanding profitable, measurable business outcomes from AI, which means organizations are just, they're deploying it across every sector continuously.
Okay, let me stop you right there, because this is where I'm looking at the brief, and I'm really trying to reconcile two conflicting ideas.
Okay, what's the conflict?
Well, we are constantly told that technology is getting more efficient, right?
Sure.
Like the algorithms are supposedly getting smarter, the silicon chips are undeniably getting faster and smaller.
Right, Moore's Law and all that.
Exactly. So if everything is so highly optimized and efficient, why does the brief specifically note that summer electricity demand is crippling regional power grids?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's forcing a massive renewed investment in nuclear energy, battery storage, transmission lines. Why do we have this sudden extreme thirst for power if the tech is supposed to be so efficient?
Well, what's fascinating here is the difference between training an AI model and actually using it at scale. What the industry calls inference. Yes, the chips themselves are much more efficient, but the sheer volume of computation has just completely exploded.
So we're just doing way more of it.
Right. Every single time an enterprise system uses a multimodal AI, and by that I mean it's processing text, video, and audio all at the same time to make a complex decision.
Wow.
Yeah, that requires an immense amount of localized hardware processing. And when you multiply that by, millions of daily operations across healthcare, logistics, finance.
It adds up.
Exactly. The efficiency gains of the hardware are completely swallowed by the sheer scale of the demand.
So the efficiency just, encourages us to use it a million times more.
Exactly that. Jevons paradox, basically. And this spills directly over into everyday economics.
Right.
The brief mentions that housing affordability remains a really pressing discussion alongside these grid modernization projects.
Oh, because they're competing for resources.
Precisely. When you pour billions into data center construction across multiple states, you are competing for vast tracts of land. You are absorbing local construction labor.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about the labor aspect.
Yeah. And you're placing unprecedented strain on regional utilities. This infrastructure demands the exact same physical resources that cities need just to function and grow.
We certainly would be tying up construction crews and stressing regional power grids to the point of needing new nuclear plants if this technology was just a novelty.
Definitely not.
It's clearly transitioning into like a fundamental utility, which kind of makes me look at the deployment landscape you mentioned.
Right, across different sectors.
Yeah, the brief outlines that AI-assisted diagnostics, precision medicine, and drug discovery are advancing rapidly.
And the healthcare applications are profound, especially when you understand the mechanics of how the technology is being applied, rather than just looking at the end result.
Okay, so break that down for me. The brief mentions drug discovery. What does that actually look like in practice? Like, how is the software accelerating that process?
Well, think about traditional drug discovery as trying like millions of physical keys in a really complex lock by hand.
Okay, sounds tedious.
It is. It takes years of laboratory trial and error to find a compound that binds to a specific disease receptor.
Right.
But what AI does is simulate the molecular structure of the lock, and then it computationally predicts the exact shape of the key you need.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it models the physics of the molecules in a digital environment before anyone ever even picks up a test tube.
That is incredible.
That is the massive efficiency gain happening in precision medicine right now.
Man. And in the tech sector itself, I know developers are heavily relying on AI coding assistants.
Right. The software is effectively writing software.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
But here's the paradox I'm stuck on. So what does this all mean?
How do you mean?
Well, if AI coding assistants and these molecular simulations are driving so much incredible efficiency like reshaping knowledge work, why does the news brief still emphasize severe workforce shortages in healthcare? And it mentions a strong demand for skilled technical workers. If an AI can write code faster than a human, shouldn't we be seeing a surplus of unemployed developers, not a shortage?
It is deeply counterintuitive, I'll give you that.
Right.
But it's actually a well-documented economic phenomenon.
Okay, explain that.
Automation rarely eliminates jobs in a direct one-to-one ratio. Instead, it shifts the baseline of what is possible.
Shifts the baseline.
Right. When a tool makes a process cheaper and faster, demand for that process typically skyrockets.
Okay, I have to challenge you on that a little bit. I mean, it sounds logical in theory, but how does that actually play out in reality? Like in a hospital or a tech firm?
Let's use the medical diagnostics example. Say an AI system makes it significantly faster and cheaper to identify illnesses from MRI scans. The hospital doesn't just fire its radiologists. Instead, they can process 10 times as many scans.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they identify far more early-stage medical issues that previously just went undetected.
Wow. Yeah.
So now, all of those newly diagnosed patients require complex, human-led treatment plans, surgeries, ongoing care, which actually drives up the overall demand for healthcare professionals.
Got it. It's expanding the total volume of work.
Exactly. And in the tech sector, when AI coding assistants allow a developer to write code, say, 10 times faster.
The company doesn't lay off 9 developers.
Exactly. They decide to build 10 times as many software features.
Right.
Furthermore, these massive enterprise systems require a completely new tier of highly skilled professionals to manage, secure, and govern them. You need humans to oversee the architecture.
So that's why the brief highlights that cybersecurity spending remains robust and skills-based hiring is expanding.
You hit the nail on the head.
That totally flips the narrative. But, I mean, shifting that baseline obviously creates massive friction.
Oh, absolutely. Organizations have to reorganize entirely.
And looking at the popular posts section of the blog, there's a flashback to a major story from June of 2026 that highlights this perfectly.
Oh, the Florida lawsuit.
Yeah. Florida became the first state to sue OpenAI over ChatGPT safety failures.
Right. And looking at this Florida lawsuit against OpenAI, I think it's important to state that the point here isn't to litigate who is right or wrong politically.
Exactly, yeah. We are not taking a side on the politics or the validity of the lawsuit itself.
Right. Our focus is just the data point that this legal friction exists. It's happening as these tools integrate into daily life.
Yeah, looking strictly at the data, it shows that as these tools reach that operational maturity we keep talking about, they inevitably collide with real-world governance.
They have to.
I mean, it's one thing to have a beta program, like hallucinate a weird response to a prompt.
Sure.
But it's another thing entirely when an enterprise AI system that's integrated into a municipal power grid or a hospital triage system makes a critical error.
Definitely. When a technology transitions from a novelty to critical civic infrastructure, it naturally attracts heavy regulatory and legal scrutiny.
That makes sense.
You just cannot operate a foundational utility without governance.
And managing that civic infrastructure and the talent bottleneck we just discussed is clearly no longer just a domestic headache.
No, not it.
It is exploded onto the world stage, which kind of transitions us perfectly to the geopolitical chessboard section of today's brief.
Because talent shortages and infrastructure constraints are fundamentally national security vulnerabilities.
Exactly.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the management of AI is no longer just about corporate efficiency or localized lawsuits.
Right.
It has become a matter of global survival and grand strategy. The brief explicitly states that AI leadership remains an increasingly important geopolitical priority.
You know, what caught my attention was the wild, almost jarring juxtaposition in the source material.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like you're reading these sleek, high-level corporate bullet points about, quote, multimodal AI capabilities and edge computing frameworks.
Very clean, very corporate.
Right. And right next to them, in the exact same news brief, you have a flashback post noting that federal authorities uncovered a 2,000-foot drug tunnel connecting Mexico to the U.S.
Yeah.
You have ongoing, grinding military operations between Ukraine and Russia. You have NATO intensely focused on European security.
It's a lot.
It is. You have U.S.-Iran peace talks reaching a tentative agreement on the Strait of Hormuz. And you have record-breaking European heat waves actively threatening agriculture.
The contrast is pretty stark.
It feels incredibly disjointed to read about advanced software algorithms while the physical world sounds so, well, gritty and turbulent.
And that tension is the defining characteristic of this decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. We often fall into the trap of separating the digital economy from the physical economy. We view them as two totally different worlds.
Right, the cloud versus the dirt.
Exactly. But the reality is that the digital world relies entirely, 100%, on a highly stable physical world.
You can't run the cloud without the concrete.
Precisely. Let's trace the logic using the Strait of Hormuz agreement you just mentioned.
Okay, let's do it.
Why does a tech-focused news brief care about Middle East maritime developments?
Good question.
Because the Strait of Hormuz is a massive global energy choke point.
Oh, right.
And we just established that AI infrastructure requires colossal amounts of electricity. So if global energy markets destabilize because of a conflict in that strait, the cost of running data centers globally skyrockets.
Which directly impacts the operational maturity of the AI rollouts.
Exactly.
Wow, that is a staggering chain of events. A localized maritime dispute directly impacts the operating margins of an AI cloud provider in Silicon Valley.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
And consider the European heat waves affecting agriculture.
Right, what does farming have to do with semiconductors?
You'd think nothing, but everything is bound together by international supply chains. If severe climate events cause localized agricultural failures, it leads to economic instability.
Makes sense.
And economic instability disrupts the delicate, highly complex international logistics networks that are required to transport specialized raw materials.
Like what?
Like neon gas, or specific rare earth metals needed to build semiconductors.
Oh, wow. The brief actually notes that supply chain resilience remains central to long-term planning.
Because it has to be.
You simply cannot maintain advanced enterprise computing or build these massive data centers if the local agriculture fails or basic international shipping breaks down.
This is why governments are actively balancing growth with national security. Advanced manufacturing, edge computing hardware, and semiconductor production aren't just lucrative business ventures anymore.
They're strategic national priorities.
Exactly. They form the physical bedrock required to maintain AI leadership.
Man, it is a heavy realization.
Uh,
The geopolitical stability of the physical world is the strict prerequisite for the digital revolution.
Very well said.
If the physical world burns, fractures, or goes to war, the digital world just goes dark. It makes you realize how precarious this incredibly advanced system actually is.
It is a delicate balance, undoubtedly.
But, and I want to shift the perspective a bit here.
Sure.
Despite all of this, despite the international conflicts, the intense infrastructure crunches, the legal friction, the sheer weight of all this corporate operational discipline,
Yeah.
human beings are still just fundamentally human. We never stop exploring, and we never stop playing.
I love that you brought this up. The scientific and cultural sections of this brief are a vital counterbalance to the heavy geopolitical news.
Right.
It is a remarkable testament to human resilience and curiosity.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. Alongside all this serious news about power grids and national security, we are actively prepping to go back to the moon.
Yeah, the Artemis missions.
Yes, NASA is continuing its Artemis mission preparations, and planning for Mars exploration is ongoing.
It's incredible.
And on top of that, we are making steady progress in fusion energy research and quantum computing. It feels like we're simultaneously trying to fix the plumbing on Earth while, reaching for the stars.
And what is beautiful about this energy is that the technology we were just critiquing, AI, is actually accelerating these scientific leaps.
Oh, right. The brief points out that scientific computing capabilities are rapidly expanding.
Yes.
How does that actually manifest in something like, say, fusion energy?
Okay, so nuclear fusion requires containing a plasma that is hotter than the center of the sun.
Right, which sounds impossible.
It's tough. You have to use incredibly complex magnetic fields. The math required to predict and control the behavior of that plasma in real time is honestly beyond human capacity.
Wow, okay.
But AI systems can model and adjust those magnetic fields in milliseconds, stabilizing the reaction.
That's amazing.
So the very AI systems that are currently straining our power grids might be the exact tools that help us unlock limitless clean fusion energy to solve that very problem.
That is wild.
AI is serving as the ultimate lever to accelerate our curiosity.
It's the ultimate power tool for the human mind.
Exactly.
And it isn't just happening in the realm of high-level science. Like, look at the culture section of the brief.
Yeah, what's going on there?
The world is undergoing this massive, heavy, technological and physical transformation, yet what is the world's leading sports story?
The World Cup.
The World Cup. People are still traveling across North America for summer vacations. They are flocking to summer movie releases.
Which is great to see.
They are packing into live entertainment venues. And importantly for us, podcast audiences remain incredibly strong.
It serves as a vital reminder that while the underlying infrastructure of society, the power grids, the code, the supply chains is changing rapidly, human nature remains entirely consistent.
Yeah, we still want to connect.
The tools we use to tell stories and connect with each other are evolving, but the fundamental desire for that connection, whether it's cheering for a football team in a packed stadium or listening to an engaging conversation, is entirely resilient. Innovation is complementing our established traditions, not replacing them.
The algorithms powering the world might be new, but the human heartbeat driving it all is exactly the same.
Very, very true.
So as we wrap up today's deep dive, let's bring this all back directly to you, our listener.
Yeah.
As you step out into your Friday, wherever you happen to be, maybe you are enjoying that pleasant coastal weather on the West Coast that the brief mentioned.
Or bracing for the intense summer heat in the Southwest.
Right. Or maybe you're keeping an eye out for those afternoon thunderstorms rolling through the plains. Take a moment to recognize the immense machinery operating in the background of your day.
You are walking through a world that is completely laser-focused on operational maturity, digital modernization, and profound scientific leaps.
It's all happening right now.
The concrete is literally being poured, the algorithms are being refined, and the global chess pieces are moving, all to support the next generation of our economy.
It really changes how you look at a simple data center building on the highway or a power line on your commute, doesn't it?
It really does.
Before we sign off, we always like to leave you with something to chew on. Based on everything we unpacked today from the July 10th, 2026 news cycle, what is the one thread that really demands a closer look?
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. And it circles back to the very real tension we discussed between AI software and physical energy.
Okay.
We know that AI is driving so much electricity demand that we are literally reinventing our regional power grids and pouring billions of dollars back into nuclear energy.
Right.
So what happens if the digital economy's thirst for power fundamentally outpaces our physical ability to generate it?
Oh, wow.
In the near future, will the ultimate tech superpowers be determined not by who writes the most brilliant software or designs the smartest algorithms, but simply by who has the raw, unyielding physical ability to generate the most electricity?
From the cloud, right back down to the concrete. That is a brilliant question to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the Daily Tech Reader's 6 a.m. news brief. Stay curious, keep looking for the signal in the noise, and we will catch you next time.